guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today's video is something that I feel like is ideal for everyone out there, like even if you're a beginner when it comes to perfumes and fragrances, or you're someone who has a little bit more experience. I feel like this video will be helpful for you in hopefully some sort of way. That's what my main goal is, that I want to make videos that are not just entertaining but also helpful and informative for you guys. So today I'm going to talk about a topic that I feel like I have kind of gone through on a journey and discovered some of these on my own, and also heard other people talk about some of these things, and that is how it's provided, and like that's how I've gotten the information. So I want to share the same with you as well. Like I mentioned earlier, some of these might be super duper obvious to you and some of them might be new to you. Maybe you've never heard about them, I don't know. If you do any of these things already, let me know down below. If you have some tips and tricks that you want to share that I have not mentioned in this video, please feel free to leave that also as a comment down below, because I think it's going to help someone else. Even I might not have heard of some of these things because I'm not a perfume expert myself, but clearly you can tell from the title that today we're going to talk about how to make your perfume or your fragrances last longer on you, what tips and tricks you can use, and just some things in general that might hopefully be helpful for you. So without any further ado, let's dive right into it. Now the first one that was sort of obvious, like I do this sometimes even unintentionally, and that is to overspray my fragrance. Now for the most part, I'm someone who I would typically call myself team oversprayer, because I know there are people who like hardly just spray 2 or 3 sprays on them when they're wearing the perfume. I on the other hand spray way more than that, just even on a regular basis every single day. So I do 2 year. So that's 8 just in like the top part of my face, and then I do 2 year, and then 2 years. So your inner elbow, your wrists, your collarbone, and behind your ear. With a lot of my fragrances, I do 2 in each spot, because I just feel like it is a lower concentration of perfume, and if I want my fragrance to last all day, if I'm using I don't want to say like a local brand, but a lot of the more affordable fragrances might not be super potent like a niche perfume. So I don't even mind overspraying, honestly, because I still feel like even though I spray so much, my perfumes last a very long time on me. Like in terms of like how long the actual juice lasts, like typically a 50 ml bottle would last me 3-4 months, even if I'm using it every single day, and that is with how much perfume I use. So I don't mind overspraying my fragrances at all, and that's how much I typically spray with regular perfumes, like most of my perfumes. And then some of them I do feel can be a little too strong. Sometimes even with certain fragrance families, you don't want to go too strong. If they're like super gourmand, super sweet, super strong, then I would do 1 in each spot. But that is still 8 sprays, which might be a lot for some people. For me, it's actually pretty less, and then on a regular basis it's around 16 sprays if you count it that way. So yeah, I know that's a lot for a lot of people, but it is what it is. I'm team oversprayer. I don't know what else to tell you. That'd be my first tip. If you feel like a fragrance is not lasting very long on you, I would say add some extra sprays. You can maybe spray a little bit on your clothes. A lot of people do spray under their arms, which I don't recommend because the alcohol content might irritate your underarms. I used to do that as a child. I do not do that anymore, because now I feel like either I like when you do that, it can typically tingle and like sensitize a little bit. It does happen to me nowadays when I do that. As a child, maybe it happened, but I didn't notice as much, or maybe it just didn't happen. I don't know, to be honest, but I would not recommend that at all. Anyways, moving on to my next tip, and this is again a very obvious one. I feel like most people talk about this, and that is layering your fragrances with similar body products. So if you're someone who uses a face mist, not a face mist, wow, why would you use a face mist as a fragrance? I don't know. Whenever you use a body mist, it's typically not supposed to really last that long. So what you can do is that sometimes you get these like sets of like a shower gel, the body lotion, and then the body mist. It happens with all the Nykaa ranges that they have going on. It also happens with Bath and Body Works as well, and then Victoria's Secret, and just a lot of brands in general do that. So if that's the route you want to go for, go ahead. I am not someone who typically does that because I have a separate body lotion, I have a separate body wash, and I have a totally different perfume. And also with body mists, this is it tends to be the case. But when it comes to fragrances, most brands don't really have ancillary products like a body wash and a body lotion. And even if they do, I feel like it's super expensive to do that. Like, just because you want a fragrance to last long, you have to use the corresponding body wash and the body lotion, but maybe you don't like the formulation of the ancillary product, or maybe like the body lotion is not hydrating enough or something like that. So it's not really my personal recommendation that I would give you, but it's something that if you actually like a body mist from Nykaa a lot and you don't really mind the body wash and you also like the body lotion, then go ahead, use it. If it works for you, great. That's why I just wanted to add this tip personally. But most of the time when I'm using these kind of products, I'm using a standalone perfume that I may or may not have a body wash and a body lotion that corresponds with that. So yeah, that's that. Moving on next. This is a tip that I actually discovered not that long ago. I feel like it's been a few months and it's completely changed my life. And that is spraying my perfume on my clothes. Now, I will say though that when you spray your perfume on your clothes, you initially can smell that for some time and then you can't really smell it as much. But if someone comes close to you, if someone is hugging you, they're typically able to smell like the perfume that you have on your clothes, even though you might not able to smell it. So I don't know if you get nose blind to it or how that really goes, but I've noticed this quite a few times, which again, I don't really know how that works, but it's a thing. It's definitely a thing. I don't think it can be coincidence for sure. So yeah, even though you might feel like spraying your perfume on your clothes, you can't really smell it for a long time. But trust me, if you want people around you to like the way you smell, spray it on your clothes and it'll probably give you a better experience. What I do with some of my perfumes, like for example today I'm wearing Viva La Juicy by Juicy Couture. When I was getting dressed in the morning, I sprayed that all over the top, and then before I leave the house I'm also going to spray it on the typical places I told you. And the fragrance I know is still not going to last very long, and at least not throughout the day. So what I will do is that I have my Avon Little Black Dress perfume, not the Little Black Dress, sorry, the Little Gold Dress, the yellow packaging that I have going on, which is also in my project pan. So that one I will carry with me in my makeup pouch, and when I reach office and eventually I feel like I can't really smell myself anymore, that's when I'll just spray a little bit of that all over me, and that fragrance lasts throughout the day. So yeah, typically you could spray, you could do something like this. You could layer on, just figure it out and see how you want to do it. But spraying perfume on your clothes can definitely help, I feel like, in my personal opinion. So yeah, that was that. Moving on to the fourth tip, and I feel like the last two tips are kind of more geared for people who are really into fragrance, who love understanding fragrance, learning about it, and not just someone who likes to smell good. Like if you're just someone who wants to smell good, I feel like go to a store, see what you like, what kind of scent you like, and just buy it and just wear it. Like if you're not really into the nerdy side of it, the last two tips are probably not for you. But if you are someone who's really into fragrance, you love understanding scent families, note families, perfume compositions, all of that, then I feel like the last two tips will be really helpful for you. So the fourth tip that I have to share with you is understand the difference between body mists, EDPs, EDTs, and perfumes. So body mists typically have, I think, like 2 or 3% of like oil concentration, which is why the scent is actually not very long lasting, because there's hardly anything in there. Like most of what you're buying and spraying on you is just alcohol. So yeah, that's why body mists don't really tend to last that long, whereas on the other hand, EDPs have around 5 to almost 10% perfume oil concentration, which again is a good amount, but it might not last that long. That being said, there are certain exceptions. There are certain EDTs that also last for a very, very, very long time. So do keep that in mind as well. There are exceptions, but this is just a generalized statement that I'm making. Then when it comes to EDPs, these have typically, I would say, 10 to 15, sometimes even 20% perfume oil concentration. Again, it really depends on the brand, the way they're formulating it, all of that. So EDPs are typically, I would say, the one that you should go for the most, especially if you're someone who really loves fragrance and likes to have really good long lasting fragrances in your collection that are super potent. EDPs are your way to go. And then when it comes to parfums, these are the ones that are super duper strong, beast mode, projection, longevity, all of that. And these are typically 20 and up when it comes to the perfume oil concentration in them. So that is kind of the you can say distinguishing factor. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't really go for this bifurcation most times when I'm buying a perfume. Like, obviously I'm not buying body mists anymore, but EDTs, EDPs and parfums. Now parfums can also, so again, sometimes at least in the Indian market, I feel like the line between parfums and EDTs is a little bit blurred. So yeah, do keep that in mind as well. And I would just typically, I would say, go for the next like, if you ask me what I do to kind of make sure that I'm buying a long lasting perfume, the next tip I feel like is the most is what I basically follow the most, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, if you don't really know much about perfumes in general and you're just starting to get into becoming a perfume nerd, then probably the fourth tip was helpful for you. But moving on to the last tip, and this is again, like I said earlier, the one that I follow the most personally when it comes to understanding if a perfume is going to be long lasting or not, is the fact that specific notes and specific fragrance families have a certain amount of longevity that you should be expecting out of them. So the ones that typically tend to last the least are fresh fragrances and citrusy fragrances. These ones, I just haven't found ones that last super long, and I think it's just a property that these notes have in them, is that they are not supposed to be very, very long lasting. They don't really stick to your skin, and they just don't last very long. They typically tend to evaporate and just mix in with your surroundings. And what we also need to realize and understand is that when the products are being formulated, they're being formulated in a place where it's like, it's typically in a lab where there isn't really much scent going on. Like, if you've ever visited a laboratory, you would know, a laboratory or like a manufacturing unit or something like that, you would know that people around there don't really wear perfume, because I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to. And then B, it is a very sterile, clean environment where you can literally smell detergent. And I can tell that from personal experience because I have visited some. So my mom is working in a pharmaceutical company, and I have visited her office a couple of times. So I kind of know what a manufacturing unit, laboratory kind of a situation is like. So yeah, when you're creating like something in that kind of an environment, you can really smell that very, very well and very potently, maybe even for a long time. But when you go out in the city or wherever you're living, you're going out, the sun is also going to like mix with all of that fragrance and all of that, like the heat, the humidity, the fragrances around. So like for example, if you're visiting a restaurant, sometimes you can also smell like the food that's being made there and stuff like that. So that also kind of alters your fragrance. I feel like the environment that you're in is also going to severely affect your perfume that you're wearing. So that's why I feel like typically the fresh fragrances, the citrusy fragrances, don't really last as long. That being said, if you are looking for a fragrance family that's going to last a little bit well on you, I would say floral perfumes, and also the slightly sweeter kind of a scents also, I feel like, have decent longevity. Some of them might last really, really well. Others at least have decent performance. Like, of course, there are some like Viva La Juicy Couture that don't last at all. So again, that's like, something that you have to take with a grain of salt. But typically these fragrance families, for the most part, have a good longevity. And then when it comes to fragrances that are super duper long, I would say the more spicy, peppery, woodish, and then the whole men's fragrance kind of vibe. Woody, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. The woody, spicy, more musky. These are the kind of fragrances that I feel like typically tend to last way longer and have like beast mode projection. Like if you see videos out there on YouTube that say these fragrances have beast mode, you will notice that most of the perfumes that are mentioned in those videos are of this category, like the woody, musky, balsamic. Like those were kind of perfumes that you will find that have way more longevity than your typical sweet floral gourmand fragrances. So yeah, if you are someone who's looking for a really long lasting perfume and you don't really mind what fragrance family it comes from, then this is probably helpful. That being said, even though I would love my perfume to last super duper long, I just know that the category of base mode fragrances is not for me. So I just try to find perfumes from the floral, sweet, gourmand category that have very good longevity. So yeah, that was that. Overall, I would just say it's a lot of trial and error, and I feel like when you find your gems, you should try as much as possible to stick to them, because yeah, sometimes it can just feel like I don't really care about fragrance families. I just don't care about anything else. I want to smell good and I want to smell good for a long time. I feel like I get into those moods sort of, not often, but sometimes I just get into those moods and I'm like, I don't care about anything else. I just want to smell good, and I want to smell good like all day, so I don't have to carry around my perfume all the time with me. But yeah, I really hope that you found something that was probably new to you, probably informative. And yeah, that's it. That was it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. If there's anything you have to share, your tips that you might have of how you make your perfumes last longer on you, or any other comment you would like to leave down below for me in the comment section, please do that, because I would love to chat with you guys. I have been noticing that more of you have been commenting these days for some reason, and that makes me really happy. I just want to say that I love replying to your comments and chatting with you guys and interacting with you. So yeah, please leave a comment down below. But yeah, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Until next time, bye.